Excellent, brother. Excellent.
BFDK Podcast, Black Fathers, Dads, and Kings, episode 4. Done the fourth night. So I want to get into this real quick and just, I have tonight a special kind of dedication. It's to really those fathers, you know, who we kind of like idolize on TV and in film and movies. Those black BFDKs. One in particular that I've kind of like grown kind of accustomed to, and I'm quite sure Brother Larry Ellison is checking in right now, and I'm quite sure you can agree, June, that Bill Washington, you know, is to me kind of like that favorite BFDK, you know, father that's an entertainer, that's a, actor, well known, to me, one of the top 3 black actors ever, and he had a scene in a particular movie called
Hmm.
Fences. I don't know if either of you have ever seen Fences, but
Yeah, I saw it. Great movie.
great movie with and with Fences, there's a scene in it to where uh, Denzel Washington is having a conversation with his son, and what I have is a video clip of that I'm just gonna put on my iPad and kind of show it out there. Here's Dominique checking in. I believe that's Sherman. I'm just wondering why my face is not popping up here.
You don't have your camera on.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Bottom, yeah, bottom left says start video.
Yep.
There you go, brother.
Bingo. There I am. Took me a
Yeah.
minute. I'm still
Sorry.
becoming tech savvy,
Hey,
with
John,
all
I'm
this,
I'm bugging it. I'll be able to help you, brother. I didn't know how to turn this thing on at one
all this
time.
stuff. But what I want to play for you is just a clip from this particular scene in Fences. And the reason why is because I was sitting, uh, thinking and contemplating about some content for tonight's uh, BFDK podcast. And I happened to look up on the dresser and I have a picture of my grandfather and my grandmother. And in this scene that I'm going to show you, Denzel Washington had a conversation with his son. Again, some of you probably have seen it. And it's really an interesting conversation that he has about buying a TV. And I'm just going to play it for you guys. I'm going to pull it up and take my iPad and put it out front so that this way you guys can actually see it. I don't know. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Somebody just has to mute themselves so they can hear this audio. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, if you had $200, what would you do? Fix the roof or buy a TV?
I buy a TV. And when the roof started to leak, if it needed fixing, I'd fix it.
Where you gonna get your money from? You done spit it on TV. You gonna sit up in there and let that water run all over your brand new TV?
No, Pop, you got the money. I know you do.
Where I got it at, huh?
In the bank.
You wanna see my bank book? You wanna see that $73.22 I got sitting up in there?
You don't have to pay for it all at one time. You can put a down payment on it, carry it on with you.
Not me. I ain't gonna nobody nothing if I can help it. Miss a payment, they come and snatch it right out your house, then what you got? Huh? Then? Now, when I get $200 clear, I'll buy me a TV. Right now, when I get $264, I'm gonna get that roof fixed. Oh, God, you go and get you 200 and buy you a TV if you want to. I got better things to do with my money.
I can't get $200. I ain't never seen $200.
All right, I'll tell you what. You get $100, I'll put the other 100 with it.
All right, I'm gonna show you.
I'm gonna show me how you cut these boards right now. Here you go. $200 worth.
Ask you a question.
Yeah, you got to ask me, Mr. Stewicki, the one you got the questions for.
How come you ain't never liked me?
Like? Who the hell said I got to like you? What law is there say I got to like you when I stand up in front of my face and ask a damn fool-ass question like that? Talking about liking somebody. Come here, boy, when I talk to you. Straighten up, goddammit. I asked you a question. What law is there say I got to like you? All right then. Don't you eat every day? Answer me when I talk to you. Don't you eat every day?
Yeah.
Nigga, as long as you in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me.
Yes, sir.
You eat every day.
Yes, sir.
Got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
Got clothes on your back.
Yes, sir.
Why you think that is?
Because of you.
Hell, I know it's because of me. But why do you think that is?
Because you like me.
Like you. I go out of here every morning. I bust my butt putting up with them crackers every day because I like you. You're about the biggest fool I ever saw. It's my job. It's my responsibility. A man is supposed to take care of his family. You live in my house, fill your belly with my food, put your behind on my bed because you're my son. Not because I like you, because it's my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you. Now, let's get this straight right here and now before it go along any further. I ain't got to like you. Mr. Rand don't give me my money, come payday because he like me. He give it to me because he owe me. Now, I don't give you everything I got to give you. I give you your life. Me and your mama worked that out between us, and liking your black ass wasn't part of the bargain. Now, don't you go through life worrying about whether somebody like you or not. You best be making sure they're doing right by you. You understand what I'm saying? Then get the hell out of my face and get on down to that A&P.
Happy birthday, Dante.
16 years old. Don't you think it should be loose?
Now, after seeing that, anybody got any comments? I'm just interested. Anybody got any comments? Brother Ellison, let me ask you that.
Well, I guess it depends upon which context you put it in. You know, I think he's taking a bigger look at it as far as how it's going to impact him in life and how you have to deal with things beyond his household. And when you go out there in America in the streets or in the environment, about what's more important that you need to be considering. So I think he's giving it to him in a bigger and grander complex. Just like the little example about if you got $200, you're going to spend it on the damn TV or the roof. You know what I'm saying? What has more value? What's more of an urgent necessity and longevity for your well-being and survival? So, you know, depending on which context you would put it in.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Brother Sherman, what did you think?
Well, that was a hard lesson.
Mm.
That was a hard lesson. I don't think the kid was old enough to understand what the father was saying. But what the father was saying is true. You don't have to like you. He has a responsibility. But I think you have to show some kind of or tell the kid that you do have some feelings for him. Otherwise, he walks away thinking unloved. Only doing that because he feels responsible, but he doesn't like me. So he never answered his son's question. I think that can hurt the kid.
Right. Got it. June.
I'm sorry, baby, to get back to you. No, I pretty much agree with Brother Sherman was saying. He never did answer the question, and I know the purpose was, don't worry about if I like you or not, I take care of you. That's what I do. But again, you left a very valuable point that you didn't answer. You never answered the question.
Right. Well, what I took from it, and I agree with everything that has been said. I see Brother McKinney's chiming in right now, and I, agree with all of you. He didn't answer the question from my perspective, but because he asked that question, and Denzel Washington kind of like in the scene made the decision that like, I'm your father, it seemed like he really felt that he didn't have to answer the question. For you to even dare to even ask me a question, why don't I like you? And then he gives examples of everything he does for him or has done for him without physically or mentally or emotionally, vocally saying, I like you. He kind of said, not that I don't like you or I do like you, but here's what I do for you. And it kind of got me in the reverse saying, if I didn't do these things for you, it's not necessarily because I like you or not, it's just because I'm supposed to. And he made it seem like I don't like going down there to his job and dealing with the people he had to deal with and, asking for this and asking for that, but he felt that it's his responsibility. That even though I didn't answer the question, I'm letting you know it's my responsibility. One of the parts that I like, and it just made me laugh, is when he said that him and his wife got together and, had an agreement, and that necessarily his son wasn't necessarily a part of that agreement, So I laughed at that, but I brought this up and wanted you guys to see that because where we are as Black fathers, dads, and kings compared to where Denzel Washington was with his son, his time at that period as a Black man in the 50s and 60s was a little bit different than where we are now, in this century. Would we have been or have we had fathers like that, in our past? Like I said, when I saw this, I looked up and saw my grandfather, and I can imagine in my mind, my grandfather saying the same thing. And it wasn't so much that he didn't like me, but he felt because I'm doing all these things, I'm showing you that I have some kind of feeling for you, not necessarily that I like you.
John, I tell you, man, I think that this is one of the biggest problems that we have as men.
Right.
Because unfortunately, we don't talk as we should. And communication is the key in whatever we do. And, we always say that communication is what the blood is to the body. When the blood starts flowing, the body dies.
Right.
And the biggest problem we have as men is not communicating, sharing our feelings. Because we were told to be strong, not to cry, not to do this. Right. But there's nothing wrong with you have to be able to release yourself, not just on a physical standpoint, but from a verbal standpoint. And I think we got it mixed up because we do it more physically than verbally. Right. We all men on this call, y'all know what I'm talking about. But we need to be able to release ourselves and not have the fear of someone judging us or looking at us as a weak male. And it's so important to do that. And I got to be honest, I didn't learn that until I got older, that it's all right to cry. It's all right to share your weaknesses and share the things that you don't know how to do. you know, and I think that hurts us more than it helps us. And through the years, you know, we learn as we get older. But you know what? That should have been. He should have said that, answered that question. I know what you're doing. That's our responsibility. I understand. Like you said, I laughed too. With me and my mother, me and your mother had an agreement. The agreement wasn't you. You just happened to show up. Well, being that you are a blessing and a gift, it is my responsibility to take care of you. And I do that because I care. Because if I did not care, I would not be here.
Right.
You know, so I think that's important. We got to be able to open up and talk. So that's a very, very, very good icebreaker there. I like that, man. I like that.
Okay.
I think I came in a little late on the conversation. What movie were we talking about?
It's actually Fences, and there's
Okay, I saw
and,
that.
and there's that scene in the movie where Denzel Washington's character is talking to his son, and the conversation kind of started out as Denzel's in the backyard. He's doing some work. Son comes along and brings up, "Oh, Dad, you know, let's get a TV." Why get a TV? That TV costs $200. And then Denzel goes on and says, "Oh, we're talking about, we need a roof. Now, if that roof caves in or that roof leaks, it's going to cost $264. Okay. Now,
Gotcha.
Denzel's mind is saying, I'd rather spend $264 of money I don't have to get a roof fixed versus you want me to spend this money on a TV, $200 of it, to buy, you know, to watch baseball." And then Denzel even said, "If you come up with $100, I'll come up with $100 and we'll get a TV." And then it just flipped because the son was about to walk away. And then Denzel went to the respect aspect of a father. When you address me as sir. And then he broke it down to him, and the son stopped and turned around and looked at him and asked him, he said, "Why don't you like me?" And so Denzel went into his character and explaining to him what he felt. And as we attest to everybody who's on the podcast about, you know, did he answer the question why he liked him? He talked about a responsibility that he has for him and that he has to him and everything that he's done, food, clothing, shelter, doing all this. And he even made a comment about, you know, him and his wife, his mother, the kid's mother, having this agreement and the kid not even being a part of the agreement. But like everyone said here, Denzel Washington did not answer, in his character, did not answer the question. You know, he kind of like.
I remember that scene from the movie.
Right.
And I guess the question also becomes, I guess, was the general consensus where he was obligated to answer the question to him? Or did he think it would kind of change his position within the household to answer the question to him?
Right. And the reason why I brought up, you know, this, and I was telling those who were on, you know, is that, you know, we in June, my brother-in-law made a great point, and which brings me to a question, you know, that what is most important, showing emotion to your children or providing for them?
And every time I wanted a quarter back in the day.
I mean, to me, that's
Carl, you mute yourself, Carl, if you can.
I'm gonna mute it right now.
Yep. Welcome. I have one of my brothers, my best friend on now, Carl Towns. He's just tuned in. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of this tonight, my brother. You are most welcome anytime.
So I don't know if, I mean, that's a tough question to ask. I think I understand what your brother was saying from what I caught coming in, that men aren't supposed to show emotion. Men are supposed to just kind of push through and stay strong. And I think it becomes almost a little bit difficult as a man if you show too much emotion. Then you get concerned that you're looked at as not as more, I guess, quote unquote, weak per se. But I think there's actually strength in having emotion,
right?
And actually showing that your children, that's okay to, show that you care for them, that you love them. And you don't have to be crying and someone in the corner, and just, and all loss of control of the emotion. But I think just to show them that you care and you can say it with the words is enough. That's, I guess, but I can't really answer as far as what's more important. Are you providing or do you show emotion? I think they're both important. I think you need to show them both.
Right.
It helps them kind of become more balanced as people, adults, because a lot of times the kids mimic us, I think so. And I don't, I think your children mimic what you do. A lot of things, they follow what you do and how you approach things. So I think you can also show them how to approach a situation and have to control your emotions, but to also know when it's time that you can go somewhere in a safe place. Because I think a lot of men especially want more somewhere where they feel like a safe place where they can express emotion. Maybe it's to their lady, to their wife, but at the same time, it also depends on your relationship you have with that, with your lady, how much emotion that you want to display.
Right.
It kind of thing becomes very difficult. But I think a lot of times, like you said, it's the background upbringing. I guess specifically to that movie Fences you referred to. I think that was the main issue with Denzel. He was raised just to do what he needs to do and feed the family. And I think historically, I've seen that, with men, especially in our community, you do what you need to do. The family needs to be taken care of. Your emotions, they're there, but no one knows you even have them. Let's put it that way. You almost kind of, I don't know about the other brothers on the call, but I have never really seen a lot of men in with their families they show emotion that they love the kids, give them a hug and talk to them, but not when they're in time of distress and need themselves. You just go somewhere and deal with it in private and then go back to doing what you got to do. And I think we're almost programmed like that. I mean, not just as Black men, I think men across the board generally program like that. So I don't know if there's any way to kind of break that.
Right.
But I think as your brother Milton said, I think he said it best, you still should understand that it's important that people, especially understand that men have emotions too. And men care and feel just as well as everyone else. That's okay. So
let me ask Brother Carl Towns. Okay. What, and the question is, what is most important? Showing emotions to our children or providing for them?
Well, it all depends what the situation is. You always should show emotion for your kids because your kids should be your priority from day one. I mean, when you make these kids, you're making them with the understanding that they're going to be your life until you part this world. So in my opinion, I'm going to show emotions for my kids, but I'm also going to show emotions outside for not just for my wife, for anybody I feel is important in my life. I'm going to be emotionally supportive of what they do. I'm not going to just judge people about who they are. I'm going to judge people about how I feel. So you got to look at things from an aspect here that when society gears you a certain way, you got to be ready to gear yourself to adjust to any situation. So when it comes to certain situations, emotions got to be displayed in a lot of aspects and depends on the situation before you make a judgment. So my opinion, both of them is important, but you got to stay focused to what is important at that moment. So really, it all depends on what the situation on how your emotions should be expressed.
Got it. Thank you for that. And just, I appreciate all, of the comments and things that have been said from all of you, because again, we all are these BFDKs. We all are these Black fathers, dads, and kings. And I think that, excuse me, it's best that we learn from each other, because I can sit here and tell you, I don't know it all. And just as you, many of you, been a father for the past 30 years. I'm still trying to figure out and understand how this thing works. I'm still understanding. So when I get, and I understand and get feedback from men like yourselves who are, these fathers and dads and kings in your own right, it makes me feel that, there is hope and that we can bring this together, because there are a lot of men who feel the way we do and that are out there, especially young dads who need some help, and sometimes, like you said, they go off by themselves and they deal with things in an emotional way and then come back into the same situation. But has the situation been rectified? Has it been resolved? Or you just went away, put a Band-Aid on it till the wound starts to heal, and then you come back and then the Band-Aid comes off, and then you look and realize that it's not been healed 100%. There's still some things that you got to deal with, and so that's why I want to make this thing, this podcast, and just being able to sit and chat for 45 minutes as Black men and pick each other's brains and bring about these different types of scenarios and questions, about how this thing is going to work, because we all are in it. We're in it, and we've been in it for quite a while, a long time. And for the most part, all of our kids, are grown. They're going into adulthood. They're in adulthood right now. And so, like I'm sitting here scratching my head because I do that now when I see my boys, and I have conversations with my boys. I scratch my head because I'm realizing that I'm learning something new about myself and about them every single time I have a conversation. I'm learning something about me more so than them, that I can't talk to them like they were when they were 10, 11 years old, or even when they were 15, 16 years old, or even when they were 21, 22 years old. I have a different conversation with them now. Mine is more or less about life, the next 5, the next 10 years. What is that going to be like for you? And in holding down your responsibility. How does that work? So again, just the importance on emotions versus providing for them. Got another question. All right. The clip I played from Fences seemed to be hard, tough, but if there are some relevance in his statement, don't worry about who likes you. Make sure that they are doing right by you. Do you agree with that statement? Anybody?
I tell you, John, I'll take that because I'm about to report on this call. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that big deal wholeheartedly, because I got to tell you, growing up, there was some times where I was very concerned how people, what their perception of me was. And I found myself that I was actually trying to please them instead of growing into the man that I needed to be. And that took to a point where I was hurt by some folks that were close to me. So I had to take a step back and do a self-examination of myself. Who am I trying to please? Can't nobody beat me being who I am, and I need to understand who I am and what my goals are in life that I need to achieve. And when I started going after that, I felt more confident. My self-esteem grew a lot stronger. I found myself speaking out more boldly, opening up, and I think that's very important. That you need to understand. We're not here to please somebody else. We're here to take care of ourselves and take care of responsibilities. Right. So I agree with that. That's a very good statement, man. Y'all keep going, brothers. I like the format, bro.
Yeah, Larry. Let me ask you that question. Is it more or less a statement about don't worry about who likes you, make sure that they are doing right by you? How do you feel about that?
I think that's right on point, because you can get caught up in all this like stuff, but people are not respecting you, not giving you your due. You're not knowing how to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm entitled to more than that, because you're trying to, be liked. And it's when you get to the core of it, it's beyond that. It's about who's respecting you, who's doing right by you, being fair, and you getting the due that you deserve for the hard work that you put in. You know, it's kind of like that same old adage: is it better to be, you know, to be feared or loved? You know, and it's kind of like, you know, you want to make sure in any given situation that you are being respected, not being mistreated, and that you know, people are doing right by you. You know, because people are fickle. One day they like you, one day they don't, or offer some BS. So you know, you can always demand your respect and people be fair. So yeah, I think it is important to understand that there's a stark difference between just somebody liking you and, you know, people doing right by you, because they can like you but don't do you right.
Right.
So that's how I feel about
it. Respect is a big deal. If they don't have to like you, but they do have to respect you. And when a person respects you, they would normally do right by you.
Right.
So to earn the respect is a little bit more important than the like.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And you know, when we human beings, we are some very interesting creatures. You know, we have this thing where if you watch an animal, a dog, you know, you can kind of know the temperament of how that dog is going to react by the certain things that dog does. Because we have the ability to process and think and show our emotions, you know, we sometimes do it in a way that is just like, wow, you shake your head. I'm guilty of it. There's been many times I'm guilty of it. And I'm trying to not, you know, do that as much, but trying to just understand why I'm having these emotions. Why am I going to express this before I do? Because where I am now, the stage I am now, that will take a toll on me, you know? And then letting somebody else's situation get me to the point where I lose control of it, of myself, and it gets me to a point where I can't, you know, function, you know? So this is where, as a BDFK, we got to start, as to me, my opinion, as Black men, start looking at the big picture here. You know, do we want to indulge in these kind of things, or do we want to say, hey, let's figure it out amongst ourselves, you know, for the sake of our offspring and our families, that we can move forward and together, because, you know, we are, I can tell you, and this is just my opinion, there are certain factors in this world who want us to become an endangered species. You know, they want us to become an endangered species. And if we go, then everything else goes. So we got to hold fort consistently. I'm gonna let Brother McKinney have the last word in reference to that comment. You know, don't worry about who likes you. Make sure that they are doing right by you. How do you feel about that, Brother McKinney?
I always been that way. I guess maybe it was just my personality from when I was even a young guy. I never cared about who liked me. My only thing was always respectful to folks. I was raised that way. And I also, you know, have the same philosophy: give respect, you get respect. But everyone's not going to like you. I even tell my boys that. But, you know, you try to always do the right thing. But if you worry about everybody who likes you, so that, you know, if you worry about every time that somebody has to like you to do something for them, but to do something the right way, you'll never get anywhere in life, because everybody's not going to like you, period. I don't care how nice you are, how friendly you are, how much you do for people. So you just got to kind of, for me, always explain that you have to kind of be focused and be on your purpose and moving away, which is going to be most productive, you know, give you the most productive outcome as a man in life, you know. But I definitely more of a can't worry about the like aspect, because like is fleeting. Somebody can like you 1 minute and not like you the next, you know, for something you said to them or something you didn't give them. So if you move the right way all the time, you know, it kind of lays out, it kind of falls out the way it does at the end of the day.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, my brothers, we're gonna bring this tonight's podcast to a close. I want to thank you and for this, and thank you for tuning in. And I just want to give a pray over you guys, you know, that you are blessed, you are in good health, you are where you want to be in life, you know, and if there are some topics that you guys would like to discuss in the future, please send me a text. Okay. Now I'm gonna put my brother Carl on the line right now, and I'm gonna say to him, next Tuesday's podcast, Black Fathers and Dads, is gonna be about us sports dads.
That's going to be a good one.
Dads, you know, that have played sports, done sports, and then have sons and daughters who we have kind of like participated in their ventures when it came to, you know, being an athlete, you know, being a sports dad, and how that turned out. You know, for those who don't know, Larry and Mr. McKinney, and I think Sherman knows, Carl is actually the father of Carl Anthony Towns, who plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So as a sports dad, you know, he can pretty much give us some insight of how that actually worked. Because for Carl and for Sherman, you know, and even June, who was on, I was kind of front and center and witnessing some of the things, you know, that we as sports dads, you know, didn't do, should have done, would have done, could have done, but didn't do. So that's going to be our topic next week. And again, if you have something, a topic, anything that you want to talk about in reference to Black Fathers, Dads, and Kings, hey, again, send me a text and we'll put it on and we'll have that discussion. All right?
Right.
Hey, Carl, it's good to see you.
Yes.
Good to see you guys too.
And I want to thank you for tuning in to this podcast at this time, Black Fathers, Dads, and Kings, and praying for you guys, mind, body, soul, and spirit, your health, your families, your who and what you are in spirit, you know, praying for things to be in your house and in your home the way you want them to be and you need them to be by the grace of God. And again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Until next Tuesday, 8 p.m. this time. Peace. All blessed.
All right, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, Griggs, you going to Coach Walker's function in January?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Are you coming down?
Absolutely.
God, I'll see you there, my brother.
All right, that'll work.
All righty.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Hmm.